Welcome back to another episode in the series that you guys wanted me to name DJ's Advice. You guys wanted me to also name it DJ Cook Inspired. You also wanted me to name it Helping Kids. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that one. But in all seriousness, I still don't know what to call this series. If you don't know what it is, I basically just give you guys advice. You ask me questions and I try to help you out. So if you have a cool and unique name for that, leave it in the comments. We still haven't decided on one. This video is going to be a lot about sports. I got a couple sports questions, so if you don't like sports, then I guess you can just leave. Or if you just want me to be your background noise while you play a game or study, that's cool too. And I might upload another video like this, right after this one. I've never done that. Usually I take like 3 weeks to upload these because I'm busy with my main channel. But if you guys want me to upload another one, comment down below yes right now. If I get a lot of yeses, I'll upload one right after this. She says, "Hello, DJ Cook. I'm a 16-year-old girl. I watch your YouTube videos and they are amazing. I'd like to reach out to you and ask for some help. I need help trying to do good at volleyball. I don't know how to get better. I'm very bad right now and I want to end up being the best on my team and eventually maybe the captain of the team. Please help me." Now, if you don't like volleyball, don't click off just yet. This advice goes for everybody. So if you play soccer, if you play basketball, if you play anything in high school, middle school, or even like college, this is great advice. I've noticed that a lot of high school athletes or middle school athletes or college athletes even, they'll have a lot of practices. Like let's say every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you have to go to practice, right, with your team. But right when they get home, they don't practice anything else. They don't watch film. They don't watch the NBA. Like, for example, if you are a high school basketball player, you should be watching real basketball games. You should be watching the pros and trying to reflect what they're doing into your game. I see too many people going to practice, and when practice is done, they go home, lay down with a bag of Lay's chips, eat ice cream, and watch Netflix all night. Like, that's not helping you. And especially if you want to be the true athlete that most people want to be, you have to be working. Now, I'm not saying don't constantly work because you still need to recover. You need to like have your body recover from all that work. But there's stuff you can do that isn't considered work. Like, as I mentioned, watching film, learning more about the game. Now, more specifically about this question for volleyball. One main thing about volleyball is being able to jump high, especially if you play in the front. If you play in the back, then you need to practice on your bumps or whatever those are called. I'm not too smart about volleyball, but if you do play in the front, which I'm going to assume you do, you need to be able to jump high. If you can jump super high, you're going to be way better at blocking the ball, way better at hitting the ball, and you also want to work on your strength in total, like in general, for spiking and stuff like that. And how you can do that is just jump a lot. Like, it's no rocket science. If you want to be able to jump higher, you have to be able to jump, and you have to jump a lot. That's like saying if you want to learn how to drive, you're just going to watch YouTube and then go drive. No, you need to practice driving before you become a good driver, just like how you need to practice jumping before you become a good jumper. And like I mentioned earlier, you can research so much stuff online about stretches you can do, workouts you can do, just stuff like that. So really what I want to tell you here is most of those girls on your team probably aren't working. They're getting home from that practice, they're so drained, and they're going to sleep, or they're eating a bag of chips, stuff like that. If you want to distance yourself from everybody else and become the team captain eventually, you need to be a hardcore worker. You have to have a love for whatever game you're playing. Now, this next question is about basketball, and it kind of relates to the last question because this person wants to get better. But he says, "Hi, I don't know if you can relate, but I'm a pretty good player and one of the better players on my team, but I don't know how to run plays very well. So if you have any advice on that, that would be cool." So he basically means he doesn't really know how to run plays. Like, let's say your coach wants you to do a certain play on the court. He's not very good at executing those plays. I mentioned this earlier, but watching the NBA and watching how they run their plays helps so much. If you watch a team like the Miami Heat, that's my favorite basketball team, so I know the most about them, but they run a lot of pick and rolls. So they set screens with their big men and try to get switches. So like, let's say the big man is guarding the big man and the guard is guarding the guard. They run a lot of pick and rolls so that the big man has to switch onto the guard and start guarding him. And then the guard can just take the big man to the rack every single time. So that's a simple play that not a lot of people like to use because they think it's so simple and so like cheesy, but pick and rolls have been around for so long and they work a lot. So if you can master the pick and roll game, that'd be great. But you mentioned that you're on a team, and if you're on a team, that means you have a coach, and your coach probably isn't telling you to run a pick and roll every single time. So you have your own certain plays. I'd say reach out to your coach and ask him, like, could you help me out with learning this? Or could you tell me more about these plays? Or could you upload some videos like onto like a huddle website or something for your team so you can like research, you know what I mean? You want to be able to watch film, even if you're like in middle school. People don't take it that serious, but if your team starts watching film in middle school, by the time you guys are seniors in high school, you will be dominating everybody. You'll go to state and probably win because you'll have an advantage over everybody else because you've been watching film, you've been studying way before everybody else did. And if you have a certain play, like let's say it's isolation, where it's just one-on-one with you and your defender, look up ways to win in an ISO situation. Look up ways to win in different plays. Like you can go on YouTube and search up the certain play that you do, and you'll be able to find some videos on it. Study, write stuff down, and if you really want to become better, this will be super easy for you. The last question is, I want to become a great football player, but I'm lazy to train. What do I do? You say that you want to become a great football player, but you don't want to train. That seems pretty counterintuitive. Like you want to become good, but you won't put in the work to become good. If you look at every single football player, they had to train. Look in the NFL today. A lot of these players train consistently, and that's why they got there. And I'm sure you would love to be in the NFL. Have you ever trained before? Ask yourself this question. If you have trained before, what made you want to stop? Did you not see results, or do you just completely hate training? If you haven't trained before and you just don't want to and you're that lazy, you need to try it at least once or twice or 3 times. Train every day for a whole month. It might suck some days, but every time you're about to give up when you're working out or you're training for football, tell yourself, I am getting better at football right now. By doing what I'm doing right now, I'm getting better at football. You can look at all your teammates and be like, these guys aren't working, but I am. I'm going to get my chance. That's something I would do a lot. I don't know if it seems weird, but like I would notice that my teammates, whether it was basketball, football, or whatever I used to play, I played a lot of sports, but my teammates wouldn't be working. And I'd be like, well, if I start working, that's good because I'm at an advantage, you know? And you always want to be better than your peers. It's not like weird that you want to be better than your teammates. You obviously want them to be good, but if you see yourself working every single day and you don't see anybody else working, you know you're doing better than them. So, I mean, you said you want to be a great football player, and you know you have to train to become a great football player. There's no possible way anybody can become a great football player overnight without training, without eating right, without putting in the work. If you truly want to become a great football player, you'll do the training. You'll go through the hard times. In 10 years, you're going to look back and be so glad that you were working out so much now because you're going to go through a hard time now of training and training and training so that you can have a great time in about 10 years, whether you're in the NFL or you're in a college, something like that. If you want to be good, you need to put the work in. But you'll be glad you did it at the end of the day. Like I said, if you want me to upload another one of these, and they're going to be more questions, like more normal questions, like if you want me to upload another one like right now, right when you're seeing it, comment down below and tell me yes, I want you to. Because I have a couple of questions. I'm looking at it right now on my phone. That's what you just heard fall over. I'm looking at some questions right now, and there's a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie. So if you want me to upload one, just let me know. Peace out.